Learn to create this jeweled egg from this bag of plastic eggs. Hi, welcome to another video. One last Easter video, I promise. Okay, so today we're going to learn to create a beautiful jeweled egg filled with flowers from these plastic Easter eggs. And we are also going to create this beautiful egg arrangement and another spring basket arrangement. So our first project is a jeweled egg with flowers coming out of course. I've been kind of obsessed with making a jeweled egg, and I wanted an egg that opened horizontally, and it's hard to find. I finally found it at, of course, Hobby Lobby, and it's a set of two of these very elegant plastic Easter eggs. They're $3.99 for two, so that makes them, what, 40% off all their Easter stuff. So it's $1.20 an egg, so it's $2.40 for a package of two. Now, I'll tell you why I chose these eggs. Number one, they opened horizontally instead of vertically, and they also have a flat bottom. And they're not tiny like those, Easter egg hunt eggs. Let me show you what they look like when they're first out of the package. Yeah, it's this hideous yellow and green with a plastic clear top. The other thing I loved about this egg is it has a flat bottom. I mean, it's just like the perfect egg for the project I've been envisioning. So of course I had to get it. So years ago, my husband bought me this Fabergé egg pendant for my birthday. It's a real Fabergé egg. It's a beautiful blue enamel with gold butterfly. And I thought, hey, why don't we make a beautiful gold Fabergé inspired jeweled egg out of these hideous plastic eggs. At first I tried white paint. It was really hard to cover this green. And then the clear part, I don't know, the white just didn't look right. It's sort of like when you wear a white skirt and you can see your underwear. That's what it was like. So I said, okay, let's do something different. So then I spray painted it with the Design Master 24 karat pure gold paint. This thing is great. It covers everything pretty much in one coat. And I actually like it. I actually like it better than the white. And then, of course, there are holes on the bottom of this egg. Little tiny ones. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. So it's not watertight. So what I did was just line it with a piece of polyfoil. I just folded this in half so that it's thicker and smushed it in here, cut the extra off, and then folded the edge back in to make a watertight little reservoir here. So that's the mechanics of our little egg project. And then I cut a piece of floral foam into sort of an oval shape, and we're going to go ahead and put that in here. So that's the bottom. Now we're going to decorate the top of this egg with some jewels because I thought, hey, why not? So I bought these very inexpensive jewels on Amazon. I'll put that in the link below. So if you want to try this at home, you can find these cute little jewels. And all I'm going to do is just glue it on the shell of this egg. And the main thing is to cover the little holes that are still there, as well as to make it more decorative. And whenever I'm too lazy to get out the glue gun, I just use these wonderful glue dashes. They're called dashes. And they're much stickier than glue dots. Okay. So I'm going to pick one of these really pretty floral shaped jewels. It has like gold and rhinestone and pearl. I'm going to use this as the center decor on the egg. Okay. And then, I don't know, there's all these different shapes. They're kind of cute. They have the rosettes. I like this one that has like a little leaf. Let's see if I have another one like that. Yeah, there's two of these. So I'm going to use these on either sides of this to create a more elongated looking jewel. These glue dashes are so great because they're so sticky. We use them even in corsage work. And you don't have to take your glue gun out if you're just doing a small project like this. That's why I love using them, mainly because I'm lazy. Okay. Let's glue this on this side here. And let's go for another one on this side. Now the glue dashes I'm using are from Oasis, and they're super sticky. I'll put a link in the description. Another reason why I love these glue dashes is because they adhere instantly. You don't have to wait for the glue to dry and keep holding it on there. So these jewels, I think, would be actually hard to glue onto a convex shape like this eggshell without these glue dots. I'm just going to do a very simple arrangement, and I want this egg to be just slightly open like this, almost like a clamshell with just a little bit open. And this is just a $5.99 bunch of spray roses from Trader Joe's that I picked up. So the flower part of this is actually really inexpensive and going to be super easy to do. So I'm cutting the stems are pretty short, and then I'm going to start in the middle because you kind of want to create like a focal point in the middle with like the roses. Kind of reminds me of doing floral barrettes. Sometimes we would have to make floral barrettes or clips for brides. Okay, and then we kind of create like a focal point in the center and have the design sort of taper towards the sides. I'm going to use some of the little smaller buds on the ends as it gets skinnier. See, we didn't even use like a third of a bunch of this $5.99 bunch of spray roses from Trader Joe's. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this mossy green trachelium. See, this is one stem, and you could break it up into little pieces to use in corsages and boutonnieres. So you have this like little mossy filler, just to give it a little more textural interest. So we're all done with our jeweled egg. I just put it on this little mirrored tray that I happen to have, and I think it shows it off very nicely. So I'm not sure where you would use this, maybe in a powder room. I would put it next to my makeup area so I could look at it and it could spark joy while I put my makeup on every morning. So this next arrangement is inspired by this cute little egg basket that I found. This little egg basket was only like $5, and I think I bought it at Ross. I just thought it was cute, and the shape was great. And I thought, well, it's an egg basket, so we have to fill it with eggs. So I filled it with crafting eggs. This is crafting eggs from Hobby Lobby, and these are like about $2 for a dozen, cheaper than a dozen real eggs. So I have a dozen in here. They look like real eggs, and they're very lightweight. And we're going to go ahead and put another dozen in here. Okay. And then the way I envision this arrangement is an arrangement on top of all these eggs. And the hard part is, how are we going to do that, right? So I have these eggs in here, I'm going to try to keep it kind of level. And then I have a low oval mache container. These green mache containers they sell at the flower market in all sorts of shapes and sizes. And they're wonderful because they'll hold water for a long time, maybe 2-3 weeks. And they're totally biodegradable when you throw them away. And the nicest thing is they're in this mossy color, so it's really easy to disguise with either greenery or moss. Let's see how that works. I think that works well. We're going to have these sit right on the eggs right here, and then we're going to disguise it with the Spanish moss. The Spanish moss I'm using is a dyed product. This is real Spanish moss that's been preserved, and then it's been dyed this green color. And what I'm going to do is just going to put some of that moss to disguise our tray. And because the tray is mossy green and it's shallow, we don't have to worry about it showing through very much. And then what I'm going to do is pull the moss up and just cover the lip of the container as well so that you don't see that transition. It might be enough moss here. I don't want tons of moss. I want the eggs to show. So I'm going to pull the moss up a little bit. This is why I chose such a shallow dish, just because I wanted to have the illusion of an arrangement on top of the eggs, right? Just going to turn it around to make sure I have it covered. And it's covered and we can still see the eggs. Okay, so now that we've kind of hidden our container, we're gonna go ahead and start with our arrangement. I'm gonna green this in lightly. I don't want a lot of greenery. And we're just gonna use beautiful springtime flowers today. Today we're gonna be using primarily ranunculus roses, anemones, freesia, and scabiosa, all in sort of lavender, white, and pale icy pinks. But I'm gonna start with some pink jasmine. Now, in my other videos, I think I've shown you my trick for when you want to cover the perimeter of something. Today, we're not so much covering the perimeter as I want to create sort of like a frilliness, overall frilliness to this arrangement without adding a lot of frilly elements coming out. So I cut some pink jasmine from the garden, and I'm just going to add it around the perimeter of the arrangement, and then we're going to affix it with greening pins. Some of it, tendrils, we're going to just let it cascade down. Some of it, we're going to affix. Oh. The pink jasmine is like perfect right now. And I thought it would be very pretty in this arrangement. I just wanted like a slightly cascading element to this, but not too much because we want to see our eggs. So I thought this would be a really pretty element to add. And it's a way of greening in without adding a lot of leaves. I want the leaves to be small because the flowers we're using are delicate and small springtime flowers, and I don't want the greenery to overwhelm it. So I'm just putting short tendrils of pink jasmine and affixing it with some greening pins into the floral foam. I like pink jasmine before it blooms so it doesn't smell so much. And once the flowers bloom, they are spent in a day or two. So it's nice to use it when it's still just in bud form. Like right now, in my area, it's perfect. Okay. So I've added in the pink jasmine, so we have like this kind of romantic, frilly texture overall to our arrangement. So it softens the lines and softens the edges, and it also disguises the rim of our container and our moss a little bit. That's why I'm using the pink jasmine. Now I went out to look for some little delicate greenery this morning. There's not much that's tiny, so I cut some boxwood. Now the boxwood is really tender, so I don't know how long it's going to last. I might just pinch off the newest spring growth because it's spring and it's all this soft new growth. It doesn't last as long. Although these have been watered for a few hours and they're still holding up, so it tells me that it could hold up. Just going to add a few sprigs of this pretty boxwood in here just to cover the foam. Then we're going to start with some of our beautiful spring flowers. I have some short stems here because I was playing around with different colors and textures for this arrangement. That's why you always often see me with like a small vase of short flowers, because before I make the video, I kind of have to work with the materials to see what colors work. So that's what it is. I was just playing around with the different colors. So we have some of this beautiful ranunculus that you've seen in previous videos that I purchased. That's that icy pink, almost a violety pink with green. And I'm just in love with this ranunculus. It's so beautiful. I was happy to find it again this week at market. So I bought some of that. I also have these beautiful little lavender roses. This is called Ocean Song, and it's my favorite lavender rose because a lot of lavender roses bloom too quickly and they don't last. So we're going to go ahead and add in some of our ranunculus in roses first. And I'm just envisioning a really beautiful romantic color scheme of pale lilac, lavender, white, and a little bit of this icy pink. And I'm going to just do kind of a low arrangement, not too high. So I'm cutting the stems sort of short. This is a beautiful little lavender rose. It holds up really well, and I like that it's a real like pale lavender, not like a plum color. It's one of my favorite lavender roses. I'll turn around as you can see what we've done. I'm going to add some here too. The ranunculus this year at market have been just spectacular. I mean, they're just insane. They're so huge. I'm going to add some of these beautiful white ranunculus in here. I love lavender and white together. See these incredible ranunculus I bought at market? I mean, these are local. These are not imports, and these are locally grown. I think, I'm not sure where it is grown, but I think it may be grown in Southern California. Some of it comes from Half Moon Bay, but look at that. It's just, look at how beautiful and perfect these ranunculus are. Amazing. I'm going to use a few more stems of the white ranunculus. Don't think I want such giant ones. Well, maybe I'll use one really large one in here. Now, years ago, I went to Carlsbad, California. Carlsbad is like between Orange County and San Diego, and it's a coastal area. It's where Legoland is in California. And bordering Legoland is this incredible place called the Flower Fields of Carlsbad. And they have acres and acres and acres of ranunculus, like millions of ranunculus. And right now would be prime time to go there to see it. It's really fun. It's like a flower farm. They've got incredible gardens there, and there's a farm tractor that you can ride, and they take you throughout the property. We took our son there years ago when he was little, and we stayed at a hotel bordering the flower fields of Carlsbad, and we were there in April, so the ranunculus was amazing. For me, it was way more interesting than Legoland. And I'm going to add a little bit of freesia. There's some beautiful freesia right now. These are all locally grown. This I bought from a vendor that at the flower market, and he grows his flowers in Half Moon Bay. Half Moon Bay is just south of San Francisco. It's a coastal town, and it's always sort of foggy and cool there. So you can grow all sorts of amazing flowers there. Some beautiful white anemones, also from the same grower. He's growing these in Half Moon Bay, California. That's what we have so far on this side. I'm just going to do some on this side. I might use some of these darker purple anemones. What do you guys think? Too dark? No, I think it's pretty. Let's go all out with the purples today. I'm going to show you some of the beautiful anemones I bought. Look at these. The nursery I bought these from is called Repetto Nursery. And they've been a family-owned farm and nursery in Half Moon Bay for, I don't know, forever. And they have a stall at the flower market, and they grow these beautiful things. Now I'm growing some ranunculus myself. They're just coming up. No flowers yet, but I actually saw some buds. We'll see. But they're not going to be as spectacular as these. We're almost done, right? That's kind of pretty. Just going to see what else is missing. I'm going to add another purple one on the end over here. You see how the pink jasmine just kind of peeks through on the edge of the basket for that very frilly, romantic look without adding too much bulk. I'm going to add a few more freesia in here. Every year around this time, I see freesia growing everywhere, and I'm like, oh, I need to plant freesias. And then when it's fall and time to plant freesias, I forget to plant freesias. I'll try to remember this year. I think they're actually very easy to grow because I see them naturalized all over the place. Use some of these little side buds, the little tendrils of the freesia, to add a little dimension and movement to the arrangement. It's one of my favorite flowers, freesias, because it's got a light, beautiful scent. It's not too much. What I think I'll do is cut some of these very small ranunculus side buds and have it kind of poke through to give it a little more dimension without adding too frilly or too fussy a texture to this arrangement. Well, that turned out really pretty. You know, sometimes I get these concepts, design concepts in my head in a project going, and I don't know how it's going to work and how I'm going to do it. So at least this one worked out. Okay. So we're all done with our cute little egg basket arrangement. It's actually very romantic and pretty color scheme. And I just think this is such a beautiful casual arrangement. It's a beautiful springtime arrangement. It doesn't even have to be for Easter. It would be beautiful on a casual kitchen dining table or breakfast nook or your kitchen even on the counters. I'm going to enjoy this on my breakfast table this week. Our last project is a basket arrangement that's going to feature this adorable little Easter bunny. So it's going to be an Easter spring basket arrangement. What I've done is just greened in with some variegated potassium, and this is actually faux maidenhair fern. So I've greened in lightly in this basket, and what we're going to do is create a decorative handle first for our basket arrangement. As you know, I can't resist making these beautiful wreaths with different floral materials. One of my favorite devices that I like to use. This one actually has a real handle, but we're going to trace that handle with some floral material. Okay. What I have here are some pussy willow that I bought from Trader Joe's. They have beautiful bunches for $4.99 a bunch, very inexpensive. And I've been just kind of massaging it so that you get sort of that bend in the pussy willow. And what we're going to do is stick it in the floral foam. Oh, this has a plastic liner. This basket has a large plastic liner, and there's 2 large bricks of floral foam in here. So it's actually a very heavy arrangement. But it's going to be great because it'll allow us to use a lot of beautiful floral materials. So we're just going to go ahead and put some of this on this side here and just kind of pre-massage it. You're going to lose a few of these, the little cotton flowery parts of the pussy willow when you are massaging it, but that's okay. That's why we have multiple, so that you don't lose all of it. That's to be expected. And then I have the same on this side. I have some that have been bent. And just, kind of work with it a little bit. The pussy willow branches are very pliable, so you can totally do this. And they can just dry like this. So you don't have to worry about it, shedding in your arrangement. Okay, got that. And then what I'm going to do is add in a couple of stems of this faux flowering branch. I don't know what it is, but it's really pretty. It's got a woody stem and little white flowers on it. It had little green leaves on it that I didn't love, so I pulled them off. And I have this on a wire pick. I like the wire pick because it's square and that wood expands a little bit once it's in the floral foam, so it keeps it stable. Otherwise, the stem of this foam material is so skinny and so round that it could turn around and around in your arrangement. So that's why I have a wire pick in here to make it more stable. I'm going to put it in this on this side and this on this side here. Okay. And now we're going to pull it all together. I have a thin wire, 26 gauge wire that I covered in dark brown floral tape here. And this is what we're going to use to tie it all together onto the basket handle. So we're going to gather everything on this side and pull it down, and then gather everything on this side and pull it down. And then we're going to tie it with our wire. And the wire should just sort of disappear into the twigs. You're not going to see it much. And then what I'm going to do is just pull some of the flowers out so that it doesn't look so tightly wound up there. And I think that's pretty good. That's pretty cute. And it's securely on there. And all it does is just sort of traces the outline of our basket handle and make it more interesting. At least I think so. We're going to cut the extra bits of the wire off. And I don't even think you need to do anything like a bow or anything to hide it. I think it's fine just the way it is. Okay. Next, we're going to build a riser for the bunny. So we got this big piece of floral foam. I just kind of greened around the perimeters a little bit to set the shape of the arrangement. And what I have here is a mache container. We're going to stick it in here upside down. We're just using it as a riser. The reason I'm using this is, first of all, it's kind of big. It's the right height. And it is that mossy green, so it's really inconspicuous once you set it among greenery. And this is where our little guy is going to go, on here. And that's why we built the riser, because otherwise he'll sink down too far in the foam. Plus, it's got sort of like a papery bottom. I'm not sure what material this little bunny's made from. So I think he could wick up, or she can wick up a lot of water from the floral foam. So we want her to be elevated off of the foam. Now we can start with the flowers. What we're going to use today are an assortment of pinks and corals and kind of peachy colors. We've got all these beautiful ranunculus. I also have some very beautiful garden roses, some butterfly ranunculus, tulips, and snapdragons. Just a really exuberant, beautiful, romantic basket arrangement. All right, let's start with the snapdragons. I'm going to sort of arrange in groups, not completely, but sort of. I don't want to have the flowers all totally mixed in. So I'm going to do some snapdragons on this side here. I like the texture of the snapdragons. And I'm going to have to kind of cascade out on this side of the basket right here. I'm going to take a few longer stems of snapdragons. I like that snapdragons, sometimes the tips will become directional. I kind of let it do that sometimes because I do want some directionality in the floral material when I want it to cascade out. If you want to keep your snapdragons perfectly straight, then keep it in the cellophane or paper packaging that it comes in. But I like that. I wanted the tips to kind of bend, so I just untied it and just let it kind of do what it wants to do. Okay, I've got the snapdragons there. And then on this side, to balance out the snapdragons, I'm going to do a cluster of beautiful ranunculus. Oh. Okay. I wired some of these ranunculus because the heads were a little bit floppy. And the ranunculus come in all these beautiful pinky, peachy colors. They're just so beautiful. I bought way too many bunches of ranunculus. I just couldn't stop. They're just so glorious this year. And these are all locally grown probably in Half Moon Bay by Repetto Nursery. It's quite a treat. And then I'm going to add some of these beautiful cabbage rose-like roses here in this corally color. This is a rose that you see me often use. It's called Pink Expression. Love this rose. Pretty soon, my roses are going to come in. I can't wait. It's been a long winter of no roses. I'm going to be excited when my roses finally start blooming again. We have a lot of buds. Everything's looking good. So we're going to have roses pretty soon. Want to make sure that our stems are low enough so that we're not covering our little bunny's face. Okay, that's cute. I have some of these pretty spray roses too. Now, I bought these just because I like the colors, and I go, oh gosh, they kind of don't go with anything else I bought, but I think it'll work in this arrangement. It's a pretty spray rose that has like a lot of different colors, like bicolor rose. It's got peach and apricot and coral. So I'm going to use a little bit of this in here next to the big roses. Just a little bit. I don't want to use a lot of it because I think it's a little bit not exactly the colors that we were going for. I'm going to cut a little bit of this peachy, pale peachy pink ranunculus. So I'm basically going for a gradation of colors. So it's just, it goes from light peachy pinks to medium pinks to corals. And that's kind of like the color scheme I'm going for. These white tulips are very pretty. Maybe I'll do that in the back here, the back section here. Sort of a directional arrangement because our bunny is facing only one direction. But we still want to make sure the back is pretty. And I figure maybe we could do some of these tulips a little taller so we could see it behind the bunny. I might just go for the white tulips here. See, how did that look? That's pretty. You can see it through our little framed wreath here. Okay. What else do we want to do on the back there? That's so pretty. How about some of our butterfly ranunculus? Another taller element. And because we have a lot of these kind of heavier, large flowers in the front, it's always nice to create a little bit of dimension and space in the back here, just to give it a little different texture. This is a beautiful floral material called butterfly ranunculus. It's a type of ranunculus. It's got sort of a single flower and lots of buds. It lasts forever. Every bud will open. And this bunch was sort of like a peachy color, but the buds are opening to be sort of white and green, which I think it will work in here. It's been a very, very popular floral material for weddings and events. Because of its sinewy lines, you can create all these very natural looking arrangements with this wonderful material called butterfly ranunculus. I'm going to put some back here on this side. So it kind of peeks through, and it also balances our tulips on that side. It is really pretty how the little ranunculus just kind of flower bombs around on these long sinuous lines. And the great thing about the butterfly ranunculus is when a flower is spent, you could just remove it and these buds will just keep opening. So this is a wonderful material if you ever see it. Grab some and play around with it. Okay, that's really pretty. Maybe one more stem in the back here. I'll show you what we have. It's already a pretty full and bountiful basket, but I still see a little bit of the mossy container, so let me see what I can add back here. Maybe one more tulip with the foliage so that we don't see the container as much. There we go, that kind of does it. So you can see the back is finished, but it's definitely a one-sided kind of arrangement. I do like the little white tulips kind of hiding in the back there. Looks like it's growing, right? Out of there. Let's take a look at the front of our arrangement. Do we need to do anything? Maybe we're going to sink this rose a little deeper because I feel like it's kind of hiding our little bunny. Oh, sorry, bunny. So we are all done with our beautiful spring basket arrangement. I love all the colors. These are my kind of favorite colors. We have beautiful pinks and peachy pinks and coral, a gradation of colors. And our little bunny looks like he's just hiding in a beautiful field of flowers. This will be a beautiful centerpiece or a focal point for your Easter celebration. Well, I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun creating these fun projects, and don't overlook the lowly plastic Easter egg because you can create something really exquisite with a little creativity. I hope I've inspired you to make something fun for Easter. Happy Easter to you and your family. Please, as always, like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.